Hello and welcome back. So today's video is not going to be the September tour, so it's roughly the right time to do this, but I have decided to make some big changes to my garden, so I wanted to give you a little preview of what I'm going to be doing over the next couple of weeks and months. So the section in front of you is my very favourite section. That's not changing. The deck, which normally has lots and lots of pots, has changed. I needed to clear the deck because now we're in the shade. Come September, it does get very shady at the back. What I have decided to do is create some new planting areas. So in front of you are the pots that are usually up on the deck, on this side and on this side here. What I plan to do is to extend the borders here where I have these sleepers. I'm going to build out some new beds, and then I am going to plant some plants that I have overspilling the garden, and also I am going to remove all the grass. So I'm going to replace the grass with some pebbles and some gravel. And the reason for this is that I'm not a big fan of grass, although I do like grass that sets off the garden borders. It's great, and usually the borders here do look beautiful once the grass is nice and green and lush. But plants are my passion, and the more planting area that I have, the happier I will be. Whilst I appreciate that this will be a long process and quite expensive if I was to do this all at once, so I'm doing most of the work myself, so it will take a little bit of time to add the sleepers, which will start, for example, from this bed. It will go along and then back up where you can just about see where I've marked with yellow the border. So I placed the pots here just to see over the last couple of days whether or not I would be bothered with the fact that I'd have to walk round beds, and I do think that it's going to be fine. When you come down the back stairs here, you typically walk at a diagonal to go through to the shed, or to go to where we have our barbecue and seating area. So the plan for this area here is purely going to be a area where family and friends gather when we have good weather to sit out and eat. This section here, I'm going to just have a lovely little seating area. One thing I do love about gardens is just creating a little bit of mystery and not knowing what's round the corner. So I'm hoping the beds will create a little bit of hidden areas where people are kind of invited to walk around in a different way. So there's currently lots of jobs to do, which I've been holding out for some time, knowing that I'm going to make some small adjustments. So for example, I have this euphorbia here, which is completely collapsed. This needs to be in a brighter area with lots of sun, and cut back in the maze to invite a stronger plant. So things like this will be moving, and I'm going to be moving the honeysuckle here, moving a rose, a climbing rose, a Gertrude Jekyll, which is a lot of the time in the shade, and I don't think it's happy. Another reason for slight changes is I love this border. I think it's worked really well this year, but I do have some plants that really need lifting and dividing, so I will be doing some videos on that. So for example, this phlox here, which is my favourite, is going to be lifted and divided for the first time. So plants like this will be divided and maybe placed some small parts of the new raised bed. Another thing you need to do when you're thinking about creating new spaces in your garden is where you want to place seating areas. So I did show you at the back where my dining space is going to be for when we do have nice weather to sit out and eat. But equally this space here, it's usually an area that is in the sun, but has some part shade as well. So I think this will be a really nice area to sit out and just have a drink of an afternoon. Another thing to consider when you're planning is what are you going to do with all these pots. So I have thought about that. There will be some plants that will need to remain in pots, and I do love the fact, and anyone who's joined me on previous videos will know I like moving pots around. So if this whole area is gravelled, the pots can move as and when they need to. So overall, nothing is changing in my pond area apart from I've mentioned previously I do need to create this more shaded area over the pond, so that's something to think about this coming year and obviously next year. I will be building the new beds, and I will do a little film on that. I'll also be sheeting over the grass, trying to level it off as much as possible, and placing gravel on top, a nice thick layer of gravel, really thick, and then maybe placing a little bit of pebbles here and there as well. So that's the two beds that I'm going to create. I'm having a long hard think about whether to just create the first part of the garden being closest to the house, because it will be expensive. If I was to sheet the whole area and place gravel and pebbles down, it becomes a costly exercise, so I need to pace myself. So I think I'm going to concentrate with this side of the garden first and then review as I go along. So I really do hope that you will join me on this journey of making these changes in the garden. And if you want to be notified for each time I place a video up, please do click the bell and the subscribe button. And I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you soon again.